Thank you everyone for taking the time to join our webinar session today about CartHook Post Purchase Offers. We're going to be focusing on subscriptions and your customer lifetime value today as well, and talking about strategies. So really excited to talk about that with you all. For a bit of context, CartHook, we are a Shopify app in the Shopify app ecosystem, and we allow merchants to incorporate a post-purchase offer within their Shopify checkout funnel. A bit about me, I'm our head of business development here at CartHook. I've been with CartHook for close to 3 years now. Love working with merchants and agencies. Prior to my time at CartHook, I actually worked on the brand side of things. So I was the director of operations for an e-commerce store and have worked on a number of e-commerce stores over the years in the supplement, beauty, wellness space. So try to bring both of those perspectives to my work here at CartHook. And it's definitely one of the reasons why I love working with merchants. So a little bit of housekeeping. Our agenda today, I'm going to just provide a really brief overview of CartHook and post-purchase offers just to give you all a bit of context. I'm going to jump into a really brief product demo to show you how you would go about maybe setting up a funnel, some things to think about when you're getting started. We'll also talk about the subscription component and how you can incorporate subscriptions into your post-purchase funnels. And then we'll talk about best practices, again, with the focus on subscriptions, and I'll leave plenty of time for Q&A. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to utilize that chat section, and we'll make sure we get to all of those at the end as well. And then we'll just jump into next steps. So I'm going to pop just right in and talk a little bit about CartHook. So you may have heard our name. We've been in the Shopify ecosystem for a number of years now. We've had a few different apps in the Shopify ecosystem. Our newest app, and the app that we're talking about today, CartHook Post Purchase Offers, was built really in partnership with Shopify. So we're a Shopify staff pick, we're a Shopify Plus certified app. We can work with any Shopify store, so you don't have to be on Plus, but we love working with Shopify Plus brands. And because we've been in this post-purchase space for so long, we've really processed more post-purchase revenue than any other Shopify app out there. So we really try to bring and share that expertise with all of our merchants and partners. And with that, really try to have a super hands-on support team for you to help you optimize your funnel. So whether you're brand new or just getting started, please always feel free to reach out to our team. We really want to make sure that you're making the most out of using our app. You can see, our merchants are seeing about 10% on average in new added revenue when using CartHook. And so we're here to really help you get there. So definitely feel free to reach out after the session today if you still have questions or want to chat more about strategy for your particular store. And I also wanted to give just some really high level context of, what a post-purchase offer is. I get this question actually a lot when I'm talking with merchants and partners. I know that there are a lot of different offer apps out there. I think when you search offers in the app store, you'll probably get 100 different results. And really what makes CartHook unique is that we focus very specifically on the post-purchase side of things. So we allow merchants to incorporate offers within their checkout funnel. So our offers come in between your Shopify checkout page and your thank you page. And we find that that's a really nice sweet spot to show your customers an offer for a few reasons. One is that you're never getting in the way of that initial checkout conversion, which of course is so important. You're not overwhelming the customer with a lot of pop-ups or choices right as you're getting them, to check out. And then also where our offers come in, we see really high conversion rates there because you're kind of hitting the customer at that high excitement level after they've completed their purchase. I think we're all familiar with that feeling, when you're shopping online. And then also with that, we have really sophisticated triggers. So you can really customize and tailor how and when and what you're showing your customers. So you're showing them a really hyper relevant offer for them, which, again, helps boost that conversion rate on the offer. And so, the metric that we really focus on here at CartHook is AOV, your average order value. And then with the new release of subscription capabilities in post purchase, also on that customer lifetime value, the LTV. And we are finding that this metric is just increasingly important, especially right now in the e commerce space. I've been working with a lot of merchants over the last couple of years, and most of them are seeing major increases in sales, in customers. I think we've all experienced a lot more people shopping online these days. But with that, there's a lot of increases in costs. So operational costs, labor costs, shipping costs, ingredient costs, all of those things eating into your profits and sustainability as an e-commerce business. And so, that's why we feel like AOV is just so important, again, especially right now, really making the most out of every single order that is happening on your site. And then the LTV component is really important too, because of course, thinking beyond that initial checkout conversion, wanting to ensure that you're encouraging customers to come back and to continue shopping with you after that initial purchase. And so that's where, subscriptions can be super, super powerful. And, with the new updates with Shopify, merchants are now able to incorporate these post-purchase offer pages really for the first time within their native Shopify checkout funnel. We're finding that post-purchase is definitely becoming a best practice in this space, and it fits in really well with some of those common tech stack essentials we see, things like rewards programs, SMS, email marketing, analytics tools, and then of course subscription. So post-purchase fits in really well alongside some of those more common tech stack essentials. And we're just seeing more and more brands in the Shopify ecosystem starting to incorporate post-purchase. And you can see here, these are just some of the brands that we work with. We definitely can work across all different types of verticals. I think traditionally post-purchase, you've seen a lot in, like, for example, the supplement space. But we've been working with a lot of brands in the consumable space, food, beverage, beauty, wellness, and a lot of even accessory brands, clothing brands. Really the way that our offers are set up can work really well across verticals. And we'll get into that when I jump into the demo and some of the best practices. But on average, our merchants across verticals are seeing 15% conversion rates on average. So we definitely have merchants that see significantly higher than that, but that's what we see on average. So it can be a pretty powerful tool and really easy, to implement. And so before I jump into the quick demo, just to recap kind of some of the key features with CartHook. So we work with the native Shopify checkout. All of our offers are one click, so there's no need for your customers to re-enter payment or shipping details. With our Shopify integration, it's completely integrated within your payment processing. Our offer setup is really easy to use. So we have a drag and drop editor. It's no code, so you don't necessarily need to be having a developer set everything up with you. Like I mentioned, we have some really sophisticated display criteria options, so you're able to show super tailored offers to your customers. We also recently launched our A/B testing feature, so you can do and set up some really cool split tests just to continue to optimize. The subscription support feature is also very new. We're really excited about that. We've already seen some great success with merchants using that. And just really all of this allows you to get set up really quickly. So with that, I'm going to pop into our test store Canopy. Oh, and you see the poll just popped up. So yeah, would love y'all to take a second just to fill that out. Just kind of if you use CartHook yet, and if what your experience has been with subscriptions, that would be super helpful to see. Cool. So seeing some responses come in, it sounds like most folks have published at least one funnel, but we do have some folks that are completely brand new. And then, yeah, mix on the subscription side too. So we're interested, but not yet offering subscriptions. And then a few folks that are already offering subscriptions. So really interesting. And it sounds like most folks are using Recharge, but maybe some other tools as well. And I should say as well, we are really compatible with any subscription app that you may be using, as long as it's compatible with Shopify's latest native subscription APIs. So Recharge, of course, there's a lot of other options out there like Bold and Smarter. So again, as long as you're using one of those apps that is using those new subscription APIs from Shopify, completely compatible with post-purchase offers. All right, so I'm going to end the poll. Thank you all for filling that out. All right, so I just popped into our test store called Canopy. We sell plans in our test store, just for some context. And I'm just in our main funnels homepage here. I did want to mention, especially if you're just getting started, if you are just getting started with testing, you will need to enable CartHook in your Shopify checkout settings. This is kind of a new toggle, so just wanted to flag it. And you'll see CartHook here under your Shopify checkout settings on this post-purchase page. You can just toggle this on. So when you're ready to start testing, just make sure you have that button enabled. All right, so I'm going to pop back into the main funnels homepage, and you can see here we're just in the app section of your store, and we do have a 14-day free trial. So if you haven't yet started, using CartHook, definitely encourage you to take advantage of the trial. It allows you to set up, a funnel and play around completely for free. And I get a lot of questions in terms of approach of how to go about setting up funnels, how many to set up to start with. And typically what I recommend is thinking about if you have a hero product, maybe you have, a great bestseller or hero product. That's a great product to maybe build your first funnel around. Or maybe you have a product that, for example, Valentine's Day is coming up. I've been seeing a lot of promotions around that. That can be a great product to build your first funnel around. Or maybe you have a new product launch. For example, I see a lot of brands feature a new product launch. So those are some things to think about. When you're building out your first funnel and your first strategy, you are able to create an unlimited number of these funnels. We have no limits, but I usually recommend starting out with just a handful as you're testing, and then you can build out from there. So you can also manage the priority of your funnel. So if you have many funnels set up, and maybe a customer has several items in their cart that meet different funnel criteria, they'll simply see the funnel that you've set as, the highest priority. So I'm going to pop into one of our funnels that we have built out. It's our demo funnel, just so you can kind of see what the setup process looks like. It's really quite simple. A lot of our brands are able to really set this up, really within minutes after setting up the free trial. And we try to give you as many options as possible with these display criteria rules. So this funnel you can see here is really simple. We just say if the order value is greater than or equal to $1, we want to show plant food on the post-purchase offer page. That's a very easy, very simple way to set up a funnel. But sometimes merchants want to make it a bit more sophisticated. So you can trigger your offers based off of cart contents. And then within cart contents, you can trigger offers based off of products. You can even base it off of the variant level. So maybe you have a product that has different flavors that you want to trigger off of. You can trigger off of collections and product tags. So that can be really powerful. Maybe if you have a lot of SKUs in your store, for example, like jewelry or apparel, those can be really helpful. And then you can also trigger off of order value and cart item count. And you can mix and match as many of these as you want. So you can really kind of make it as complex, sophisticated, or as simple as you want. And I should mention, we have a really exciting new feature launching very soon. It's our customer triggers. So you'll soon be able to trigger off of things like customer tags and also shipping location, which, can be really powerful for certain verticals. So super excited about that. And you can, delete or play around with these rules. But basically, once you've set up your trigger rule, that's when you'll create the actual offer itself. So you can see here, our offer here is if the order value is greater than or equal to $1, we want to show plant food on our offer. And then within your offers, you can add accept decline logic. So Shopify actually allows you to show up to 2 post-purchase offers to your customers between the checkout and thank you page. You can see here we just have one set up. But say, if the customer accepts the first offer, you could say, we want to also show them another product. So you can see we'll pull in all of your product details from Shopify. Maybe you want to show the customer the vertical garden. If they accept the plant food offer. So you can just simply select that product. So that's how you would tie a product to the offer page. But getting into the plant food offer, so you can see here, because we have a subscription app enabled in Shopify, we're given the option to show this offer as a subscription. So all you have to do is simply toggle on that offer as subscription. It's super easy. Shopify will automatically add a little opt-in button here, just so the customer knows that they're opting into a subscription. But basically, we'll automatically pull in the subscription settings that you've already set up within your Shopify subscription settings. So, you can see here, we're pulling in the time options and the discount options. So it's all pulling over automatically from your Shopify settings. So super, super easy to set up. And then basically, within your offer settings, this is where you'll manage things like your discount if you want to show a special percentage off. So in this case, we're doing 25% off. You can limit quantity. So in this case, we're deciding we just want to add one and we're not displaying the quantity. And then you can also add, free shipping or flat rate shipping if you prefer. And then, getting into the design, we have a completely no code editor. So it's very, very easy to use. You can, for example, if you want to change the timer length, maybe you want to make the timer 5 minutes and maybe change the color to green, you can do things like that. We also allow you to, if you want to do completely custom button text, you can add custom text here. And then we also allow you to add, maybe you want to add a custom offer image like we have here. We will pull in any images you have set up within your image gallery, as you can see, but then you can also upload, custom offer images as well, which is really nice. And then all of the text is completely controllable here as well. So you can see here, like if you can choose to hide certain elements, you can add custom tags. We always recommend adding, a custom header and then maybe some tags. Like in this case, we added a little testimonial. So, just to kind of help the page pop, add some of that customer proof. And then you're also able to optimize for mobile. So we're in the desktop view right now, but you can optimize this view for mobile as well. So yeah, really easy to set up that design. You don't necessarily need a developer. And I should mention as well that we will also automatically pull in design elements that you have set up within your Shopify checkout settings. So things like your colors, your fonts, your header and footer formatting, button formatting, that will actually auto pull in from your Shopify checkout settings. And that just ensures that the post-purchase page looks really consistent, with the rest of your checkout funnel. So I'm going to go ahead and save this page and then show you what this looks like on the front end for a customer. And you can see here that this is pending changes. And, I'm actually going to delete this second offer just because I didn't fully set that up. And you can see here too, you can also toggle on the A/B test. So for example, maybe you want to do a split test with plant food and then maybe split test a discount, or maybe you want to split test, different offer images. You can really easily run those split tests to see which one is performing best for your store. And that can be really powerful, especially as you're in that kind of optimization stage. All right, so I published the changes for this funnel. You can also preview. So, always recommend previewing. Just a note that due to some Shopify API restrictions, you won't necessarily see all of those design elements pull over. So like the fonts and the colors. So that's why we always recommend doing a test purchase as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop into the front end, just so you can see what this all looks like from the customer perspective. So the customer journey on the front end is really quite similar. So nothing really changes in terms of the checkout process for your customers. Shopify has enabled post-purchase support for really any payment processor or any credit card processor that they support. And then they've also recently enabled compatibility for Shop Pay, which is their wallet option, and PayPal. So that can be super powerful. We've heard a lot of really great feedback of merchants with the kind of combo of Shop Pay and post purchase. Shop Pay, I think, allows customers to check out really quickly. So it helps boost that checkout conversion rate. And then the addition of post purchase can be really powerful to help boost that AOV. So getting into kind of how this is working, basically what Shopify is doing is they're just simply tokenizing the payment info from this initial checkout event. So that's why the customer doesn't need to re-enter any payment or shipping details. So I'm going to go ahead and click that Pay Now button. So Shopify does capture this initial order at this time. So you're never at risk of losing out on that initial checkout event. And then this is where they'll see the post-purchase offers that you have set up. And like I mentioned, you can show your customers up to 2. So, this one, we just have that one set up. So yeah, this is where they'll see the offer. And something else that I wanted to point out, I get a lot of questions about how this interacts with fulfillment. So we're still in that checkout funnel. I haven't accepted the offer yet. And I want to show you what this order looks like on the back end. So you can see here, this is that order we just placed. And again, you can see the order is showing up. It has been submitted, but the fulfillment status is on hold. So basically what Shopify does is they just keep the order in that on hold status until the customer completes the entire checkout funnel. So most of the orders will have that hold removed, pretty much immediately, but maybe there's an edge case where the customer walks away from their computer or clicks out of this page. In that case, the order will just remain on hold for up to 60 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this offer. And you'll see what we do is we just simply bundle that item right within the initial order. So we're not creating a duplicate order. The customer didn't need to re-enter anything. The percentage was applied. And basically, if this was a subscription offer, so say, for example, you were showing your customer, they purchased a plant and you said, add a subscription of plant food onto my order, we would just simply send over that subscription info into Shopify in your subscription app that you're using. So super, super seamless. All of the order management is still going to occur directly through Shopify in whatever subscription app that you're using. So things like refunds, fulfillment, all of that is still managed directly through, your Shopify account. All right, so I'm going to pop back into the presentation and just talk a bit more about strategy and best practices. So, we've worked with a lot of merchants over the years on, strategies for post-purchase and, crafting strategies based on your vertical, your average order value, your product offerings. I get a lot of questions too of like, maybe we only have one product in our store. And we actually find that merchants can be really successful, even if they're just selling one product. They can use some of these strategies like the bundling or BOGO strategy. For example, if the customer purchases one bottle of supplements, you're showing them a second bottle of that same supplement for a discount. Some of the other strategies we see are things like inventory management. Maybe you have a lot of excess stock of certain items in your store. Those can be great items to feature. The volume strategy. So if a customer is purchasing maybe more than 2 or 3 items, maybe you're showing them another item at a deeper discount. We also see a lot of merchants integrate things like samples or mini sizes or new products. That's a really great strategy if you have a new product launch. And then we've even seen merchants offer gifts. So maybe on the first offer, you're giving your customer a free gift. And then on the second offer page, you're showing them, an add-on to their order. So, I mentioned this when I was doing the product demo, but when you're getting started, I really recommend thinking about your hero product. Most of the merchants that we work with have some type of hero product or bestseller. I was just working, for example, with an outdoor brand. Their hero product is a blanket. And so they really crafted their initial strategy around that blanket. So I recommend thinking about that hero product and starting to build your strategy around that. And then, another thing to think about, especially, when you're getting started or even optimizing, is this kind of bundling piece. So thinking about products that fit together. So maybe you're an apparel brand and maybe your best sellers are leggings. You also offer, sports bras, that can work really well together. The photo here is, kind of shoes and socks. We interestingly do work with a lot of shoe brands, and, socks are the perfect pair, to shoes. So that can, be another really great place to start. And then the BOGO strategy that I mentioned, if you don't have a lot of products in your store, like I mentioned, we work with one of our best performing brands that just has one SKU. They sell supplements, and they show their customers a second bottle of those supplements for a discounted price. And that performs really, really well for them, kind of that more of the same strategy. So that can be great. And that also fits in really well with the subscription strategy. So maybe, the customer purchases a bottle of supplements, you could show them a post-purchase offer to add on a subscription of supplements. And then I mentioned the inventory strategy as well, helping to move, maybe seasonal products. We work with a lot of brands that maybe launch, winter versions of their SKUs, things like that. That can be really powerful. So yeah, getting into the subscription strategy. Some of the common strategies that we've seen is, for example, thinking about that, again, that customer journey. So I think the coffee example is really great. We actually do work with a handful of coffee and beverage brands. So, say the customer purchases a bag of coffee. In the post-purchase sequence, you can show them maybe a subscription to add on your coffee creamer and get that once a month. They pair really, really well together. Or maybe you have a coffee of the month club and say, you can show your customer an offer to add on a coffee of the month club to their order. So those are just a couple ways to think about it. If you're not yet offering subscriptions, I definitely, recommend considering it. I've even seen a lot of brands offer like a membership, for example. So even if you're selling products that aren't necessarily maybe food or beverage or beauty that are typical for subscriptions, maybe you offer like a legging of the month club or a jewelry of the month club. I've seen some experimenting there. So there's a lot of different opportunities and ways to think about it depending on your vertical. And if you want to talk more about a more customized strategy for your store, definitely feel free, to reach out to our team, and we'll be happy to maybe help give some advice. And then I also wanted to mention that A/B testing feature a bit more as well. So this is a newer feature. As you saw in the demo, you can simply toggle on split tests. I definitely recommend playing around with this. Maybe if you're not sure exactly what product to show in your offer, or you're not sure what discount to offer, that A/B testing feature can be really powerful, just to see what's converting. I mentioned that outdoor brand that I was working with, that their hero product is blankets. So their initial thought was to show their customers an accessory product. It was a really kind of low cost item. It was about $5. It was like a little beer koozie. And they weren't seeing super high conversion rates on that. And I was working with them on a strategy, and I said, maybe think about a BOGO strategy where the customer purchases one blanket, maybe you're showing them a second blanket for a discount. And even though that was a significantly higher price point item than the beer koozie, it actually performed way better in terms of conversion rates. And then of course, just that AOV boost was much, much higher than, a few dollar beer koozie. So yeah, definitely worth testing, just to see what's resonating with your customers. All right, so we're about to jump into the Q&A, but I did just want to mention how our pricing works. I know that's important. So we have a few different pricing plan options. So I mentioned that we have a 2-week free trial. So, you can try out CartHook completely for free. And then basically from there, you'll just flow right into our growth plan pricing, which is $50 per month, and then a 1% transaction fee on post-purchase revenue only. So we really tie our plans to that added revenue. So if, you're only processing, $1,000 a month in post-purchase revenue, that's what you would, be charged the post-purchase transaction fee on. So it's not tied to like views or anything like that. We really try to set up our pricing so you're seeing at least 100-time ROI when using the app. And then we do have our scale pricing option, which unlocks some of those advanced features. So the dynamic A/B testing, some of those advanced trigger criterias like customer triggers will be unlocked with the scale plan. And then we do have enterprise plans as well. So if you are a higher processing merchant, typically makes sense once you're doing around 50K per month in post-purchase revenue, we can definitely work with you on a custom pricing plan. All right, so I want to jump into the Q&A. Let's see if we have any questions popping in. Feel free to chime in. All right, it looks like I got a question around verticals and which verticals perform best. So we really work across all verticals. Like I mentioned, I think traditionally we've seen post-purchase being used a lot for brands in like the supplement wellness space, for example. But with the new Shopify capabilities and the ability to trigger offers based off of things like collections or product or customer tags, it's really opened up post purchase to really any type of vertical. And I like to use the example of a jewelry brand that we worked with that focused on watches. So pretty high price point item. And they were still able to create a really great post purchase strategy. They were showing their customers either a second watch or watch bands. So even if you have a vertical that you wouldn't traditionally think would work well for post purchase, typically we're able to come up with a strategy that can perform super well. Yeah, and then it looks like you got a question, just kind of confirming again on the subscription side of things, what subscription apps work with CartHook. So I wanted to just clarify a bit. So with Recharge, for example, that's probably the most common one. If you're using the older version of Recharge, for example, so the Recharge that has their own built-out Recharge checkout, that will not be compatible with the native post-purchase offers integration. You would have to be upgraded to the newer version of Recharge that works with the native Shopify checkout. And that's across the board for any subscription apps that you're using. So as long as you're using a subscription app that's compatible with that native Shopify checkout, you should have no issues using it with post-purchase. All right. Yeah, so one other question, if there are people who click away after they notice the thank you text, is there a way for us to reinforce the post-purchase deals via other means? So follow-up emails, push notifications, etc. Yeah, that's a really great question. So yeah, so within our app, you're able to set up those 2 offers. So if they decline the first offer, you could still show them a second offer. But say they click out of that completely and just go into the thank you page, yeah, you can definitely set up, additional follow-up flows. I know a lot of our merchants use tools like Klaviyo, for example. And, again, because all of the order management is happening directly via Shopify, any of those email and or SMS integrations, for example, should work exactly the same. So you could certainly set up, additional email or SMS triggers, for example, based on what the customer purchased or didn't purchase in their checkout funnel. Right. And then one other question about that second offer logic and any best practices around that. So yeah, so Shopify allows merchants to show up to 2 of those offer pages. And then within our app, you can create that accept decline logic. I would say, commonly when merchants are getting started, especially if post-purchase is a brand new strategy to your store. You may just want to start out with one offer and just see how that's performing, really optimize that first offer, and then maybe consider adding that second offer page. And then I do really recommend taking advantage of that accept decline logic. So using that plant food example, yeah, maybe the customer accepts the subscription of the plant food. And then in that case, maybe you want to show them an accessory item like the plant hanger. But if they decline the subscription of the plant food, maybe you could show them a downsell that says, well, what about just a small bottle of the plant food to try, or a trial size of the plant food? That could be a great, strategy to think about. So it's kind of that downsell logic. Right. Any additional questions? Not seeing anything else come through. All really great questions. So thank you all again for taking the time. We are excited to continue working with you all. Like I mentioned, please feel free to reach out to our team if you have any questions or want to chat more about a personalized strategy for your store. And if you haven't already, definitely encourage you to sign up for our free 14-day trial. You can find that link at carthook.com. And yeah, appreciate you all taking the time. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.